Welcome, brave souls. I am your GM in the Great Barrier, and we are here for a new episode of Star Trek Adventures Aegis. As to the title for today's episode, I will leave that to our proper GM today, for I will not be running this game. No, that privilege today goes to our own Panda, one Colonel Lillian Sharp. Just before I hand things off, I will remind players joining us in the archive that if you ever want to watch one of these games, if you want to join us live, we run these Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 7 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So if you ever want to influence the story in unique ways, then that option exists to you. So I hope that you consider that and possibly join us in the future. With all of that, I honestly think I shall set aside my powers. Panda, please take it away. Introduce our episode and uh, let me know when you want to transition scenes.
Okay. If you give us to the very first scene as Rominov. Brian, you around?
I'm right here on standby.
Cool. Romanov, you awaken to heat. Everything is just unbearably. Maybe it's the ace, maybe it's your thermal control, maybe it's something to do with you probably slept in the engineering room again. But whether it's the unbearable heat, the extremely pounding
Hey,
pulsing.
I like to snuggle in the corner of the engine room. Okay, the hum makes me sleep better.
Well, you certainly will, as your whole body aches in pain, unsufferable pain. And the more your head throbs, the more you notice not only is your head throbbing, but multiple alarms are blaring across your ears. And I would like you to describe yourself right now. As you start, your character starts off with full stress inflicted.
Okay.
And I want you to describe Romanov as how she feels, what she's doing as she realizes that she's in a shuttle that is turning into an oven right now.
Well, I think for a moment there would just be taking in the situation, but she's an engineer. I mean, her training is going to take over. Also, she'd calm her mind with some of the Vulcan training that she has, which is really good at helping you manage these kind of situations.
Mm-hmm.
So she's probably focusing on that. As for the heat, yeah, just, I'll cut down to my t-shirt if I need to, and head on up to the front of the shuttle and see if I can get any readings off of the
You
shuttle.
look to the front of the shuttle, and already there are sparks. Piece of the internal shuttle has already spalled and are hanging out. The shuttle itself internally doesn't really look pretty good. The controls themselves, the screens are flickering in and out or glitching, showing machine code, and a number of things suggest that they're not doing very well. You look out through the porthole in the front, and through the fire that is blazing across it like a sheet, like a wall of hell, you
Right.
notice that you're getting very, very close to a planet while surrounded by a number of debris. You,
Hmm.
my good friend, have 3 turns to figure out how not to fall and collide like a lawn dart to death. Any examinations, any ponderances of your mechanics requires a minor action.
Got it. First, I'd like to just, she realizes she's on a timer, and she's going to mentally, again, fall back on that Vulcan martial arts training, the mental side of it. And okay, my question number one, how soon to
Keep
this
keep in mind. Keep in mind. This is a minor action you're expending.
can okay, so we're now in action sequence.
Yes. Now action sequences because as much as you could think a lot, gravity is still having its way with your shuttle.
Got it. And the picture is fairly accurate. There are large pieces floating around out there. Okay, I need to know how soon the shuttle is going to break up. That's my first question. How much time do I have? You've
Uh,
told me as the
Romanov.
player round, but
From what you can quickly guess, you have maybe a 80% shot of not falling to pieces before you turn into a bug on a windshield onto the planet surface.
okay.
Maybe,
So
but if
okay,
you but if you want more diagnostic, you would have to spend an action to do so.
okay. That's enough diagnostic that I can go for the next goal, which is what is the most immediate threat? Is it hitting something in front of me or adjusting the course of that sheet of flame
Are you
is
going
like,
to spend your action for this? Should I spend your minor action? Are you spending your action for this?
yeah, I gotta spend. I gotta know which direction to go.
Okay. So what was the question again?
What is the immediate in sequence, the next thing I need to do? Is that to make, adjustments to the course, fix something so I can do that? What is the
From
next?
You are surrounded by basically what is essentially um if it was in its own play, if it was static, it certainly would be a mechanic's wet dream of like a lot of parts to repair or salvage. But right now, as a dying shuttle that's about to crash into a planet, um, there is not enough guidance to really measure out, just from a looking at it, of what needs to be first. You can looks like you can feel around with the. Actually, what? Give me a reason and reason engineering. Difficulty of
Reason engineer.
three. Difficulty of three.
Uh,
And
do
actually,
power.
I'm going to
Oh,
take advantage of this, and I'm going to spend a threat to make it a difficulty of four.
okay, a difficulty of 4, and then complication range 1,
Comprehension two.
2. Okay. And do we have any momentum? We've got 6.
No, no.
You can always get the GM threat for an extra.
Yeah, you can always give me threat for that.
Okay, so just 2 dice. Um hmm. Okay. I think my value of always have an exit strategy applies. Let me explain why. Her family used to do boomer at Alpha Centauri. They did repair on boomer ships and shuttles. That's where she cut her teeth in engineering. Um,
Okay.
so, you know, having a vehicle falling apart in space is not, she's seen this before. She's been seeing it all of her life. If you're working on boomer ships and they ain't taking care of them, yeah, you suddenly got a life-threatening situation. So, would electro power systems apply?
Um,
Okay.
sure.
Okay. So I'm going to take a focus and I'm burning my always have an exit strategy, meaning,
Okay. Yep. Using that as
using that.
rerolls or as a critical.
I'm using that as the critical.
Okay. Oh.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that sucked. Okay, now I also have cautious engineering.
Which
And when
does
you
not
buy,
come into play since
which
you
is,
didn't buy it with
No.
momentum.
yeah, I didn't buy any. I was just looking. Okay. No. No, I don't have anything.
All right. Would you like a narrative? Would you like a me threat? You can't pay it off.
Um,
Well, you
uh,
could double down and pay it off, but yeah.
all
I think it's just
narrative. All narrative.
all
Okay.
right. Um, you can feel gravity starting to take in. It is gripping you onto the plate, and it is actually pushing through what you hope that it's pushing you through the artificial gravity, or hopefully, or because if it's not, then you're probably going to be crushed or have more health problems before you even hit the ground. Um, as you're now going far beyond terminal velocity. Um, you can hear the deck plates, the heat shield and deck plates starting to shear a little bit from the amount of speed you have picked up through the atmosphere. You check the systems. The atmosphere is gone. There is no life support. You look through weapons. Weapons are functional, sort of, maybe. You have forward thrust, back thrust. You can turn left, and as you look at left, there is suddenly a thump as what you feel is probably phaser fire rip and score across the left side of the shuttle. You notice toward the very peaks and edges of your shuttle viewport that is a light show going as you're falling through the atmosphere across the stars, across planetary. You now have two actions, two turns left until you're
Okay,
dead.
this is purely survival at this point. So I want to find out if is there a vac suit at all?
Okay, that's your minor action.
Okay. And then
There's actually several.
okay. Then assess the best place, like the biggest chunk I think that's going to come off. Is there any kind of parachute or probably not? I don't
Not
know.
at this point.
Yeah.
Parachute won't matter at this
Well,
velocity.
not if I can survive in a section of the vehicle.
It would take
Maybe
you a full turn to put on uh the EVA suit. You can put on parts.
that's
Again.
fine. I'll just grab if I can grab the parachute and just loop it onto me as I'm clipping on the vac suit so they're together. And then I'm just gonna shove myself in what I think will be a piece of the ship breaking apart.
Okay, so the shuttle is more like the internal of the shuttle, like in terms of like the capsule of the shuttle is completely whole, capable. I'm just saying
It
like
is
the
it's not
outward pieces are being
gonna
sheared off from the heat and force as you're going through the atmosphere.
got it. Okay, so then if I've got the vac suit on, then my second action is
You do
try to
not have the vac suit on.
yeah,
You can put on parts of it. What part do you want to put on?
the oxygen system. Air is going to be my biggest issue.
Okay,
So only concerned about air and, if I
this will
get
take an action,
okay.
and I want you to make a daring. Actually, you know what? Let's do again. Reason and um,
Security,
yeah,
reason, security. And can I cheat and use my Vulcan martial arts as a focus, meaning there's a lot of bending and things? She can get in position.
Sure, that's pretty creative. Again, it'll be difficulty of 3, complication of 2.
Okay, got it. I've got no extra dice, so here we go. Here's for that. Maybe I'll generate some momentum. Wait, I did click it. Okay, hold on. Yes. There we go. Okay, I don't know why. That first one was the actual roll.
Yeah, no,
It
you're
did.
fine. All right. So as you are basically quickly stripping apart this EVA suit to just get into the air system, and putting on the helmet, trying to seal the helmet really quickly, you notice as weirdly, the temperature drops to a more like it's still warm. You're not burning alive anymore, and the firewall dims, leaving out just a black sheen across the screen. And you see below the thick cloud line is a number of vistas. Your shuttle is screeching through the air. You can feel the shuttle itself vibrating as it is now within thousands, like tens of thousands of feet into collision. You have one more turn.
Okay. What can I do to crash this thing? That's what I want to do is
You
right.
could, as a free action, as a free thing to you, you can try to put what's left of it and just like sort of angle itself so you can go to a skid, and hopefully you can just road rash instead of
road
flatten
rash.
yourself.
A road rash, and then I'm hoping to strap myself.
Right now you have basically, as an engineer, I'll tell you right now, you can already a dark part of your mind says you have two ways of going about this. Immediately. You can either let it drop where it may, or angle it towards a mountain and die immediately as you impact it hard. Or you can try to pull up and like road rash slide down and try and maneuver it. But then that's probably just a more slow, pseudo slower way of dying. Because at this velocity, it's going to suck.
Velocity sucks at these velocities. Okay. So, yeah, I will try to road rash it. Now, there's a second thing I got to work in here. I don't know how I'm going to do it. But once I set up this road rash landing, I need to be latched to the ground. Now, Starfleet was pretty good about safety in these times.
There is the pilot seat with buckles. Yes.
Then if I'm there, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I'm latched in. Now,
so as your minor action, you're going to strap yourself to the seat, and as a full action or a rest action, you're going to try to pilot.
exactly. My big problem is that my con is only 1. So I want to try to approach this from an engineering point of view, as in program a series of thruster movements.
You have not time to program.
I don't have time to program.
You have seconds. You have seconds with a computer that is it is flickering on and off. You didn't have time to repair it or assess it.
Okay, so I'm making a con and what roll? Con.
I mean, you can try to program it. Like, feel free. But I'm just saying, like, as an engineer, you're weighing your options right here, and it's you probably could
engineering.
Be a little more riskier.
How about you give me program on the fly, daring engineering?
Okay. Difficulty of 4.
Oh.
You're being quite ambitious. You are like you're losing hundreds of feet per second right now.
Yeah, I know.
Through heavy gravity, because you're definitely being clinging to the whole plane in one form or another.
Right.
With a broken with a pseudo broken, maybe inoperable computer system. So difficulty 4, and I'm being generous.
I'm
Complication
Sure.
complication of 3.
Oh my god.
Buy an extra
And
dice
and
with fret.
and you are seeing as you are strapping yourself in and are trying to interplace with this, you are seeing a snowy frontier of mountains of jagged.
Oh yes, I'm in for survival hell next. I'm not even thinking about that yet. Oh
And it's
my
getting and like a monster, like an inescapable monster. Those teeth of a
I'm
icy
buying
traps
thread.
are getting
Fine,
closer and
I'm
closer.
buying some thread. I'm taking. I need momentum to even survive this. I need to buy some thread, so I'll buy 1 thread for 3 dice.
What?
Okay. And Zach, I have a question. Is there a way a player can GM roll this?
How do you mean?
Like only the GM can see the roll?
Allow me to take care of that real quick.
I mean, you could
For
just private. You could just grab a
Well,
couple of
there
manual dice.
I can actually amend the setting to where it is a whisper roll to the GM. So I've just changed that setting on Brian's sheet. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, here it is. Uh Okay. There we go.
And stand by, Panda.
3. Not quite a 4, but an almost success. I want to point out this is a near success. It's like almost
So
success.
Blat.
you
Success
speak.
had admission. This was it.
You are typing as fast as possible, and as every few seconds that you are typing, you can hear the growing howl, the whine, complaint, and death knell of a shuttle, and these mountains getting closer and closer. You finish one set of programming, and as you look up, and already you can't see the sky anymore. You just see you can see like more or less more peaks than sky. You quickly type in further, it jams and gives you an error code. You smash your fist against it. You give it the engineering percussion to tell the shut the fuck up and do what it's told. You are typing faster in a panic, and just as you are about to hit enter, GM, if you don't mind.
Sure thing. And
The clip ends. And huddled around this desktop are a number of cast and a very familiar face. Well, a lot of familiar faces for most. But one in particular is one who looks very much like Shira. Not Shira. Very much looks like Romanov. And as they all watch the scream come to an end. Two individuals. One who looks... two individuals in front look less than pleased. And... not saying less than pleased, but just not satisfied in one form or another. Let's go through everybody else's opinions. Rachel, where would you be standing around this little crowd of writers and people watching a daily?
She's probably on one side with her head craned in, just trying to look up close at the screen, kind of just almost trying to enjoy the episode without considering it too critically.
Describe what Rachel looks like, what she's wearing.
Rachel is in her late 20s. Has got short blonde hair. And is wearing fairly casual clothes. She's got a little notepad in her hand and a biro. She occasionally makes a couple of notes.
All right. Going down the line. We'll get to you, Brian. Steven, where are you amongst the huddle of riders and heads watching this daily?
Kinda in the back, leaning / sitting on the table.
What's your expression of all this?
Kinda neutral. Kinda considering what needs to go into this scene in the end, but not too involved emotionally.
Cool. What are you wearing? Like, what do you look like here?
Man in his 40s. Got a very substantial mustache, t-shirt, jeans. Kinda not casual chic, it's just casual.
Fair. Lawrence, where are you sitting, my dude? How do you feel about what's your expression about the end of the daily?
If it's the end of the day, he's just like trying to hold it together until he can get out and go to the whatever bar / pub he can find, or whatever can serve some decent swill.
So for little factoid here, dailies are basically parts of the episode that have already been produced, either production or pre-production runs, to show acting and whatnot, and how it will look like on the big screen before they finalize it. So a daily is something after they worked on a day of this scene.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd still continue. I'd still say he's doing. No, he's sort of brow very furrowed, sort of just deep in thought. And there is a cup of tea sitting next to him that he's occasionally taking a sip from.
All right. I would say that sitting on one of the two available cushy seats is a very familiar blonde woman, late 20s. She is wearing a long black dress shirt with a tie, and looks just ambivalent. Kind of watching this while also kind of was actually messing around with her phone while watching. Her feet and dress shoes are kind of hanging on the side of the desk in more relaxed form. And for Wallace, if you don't mind me asking, Zach?
Oh, I decided for one Mr. Emery Wallace, I decided to go for a somewhat dapper older figure. He's been around on the on creative direction with shows like this. He's playing it very casual as kind of the resident old man of the house, sort of tan, kind of mix of a sweater and almost a jacket, a collared shirt beneath that, and some lightly rimmed glasses. I figured this would work just fine.
Yeah.
He's probably a little tired. He's been watching over a few of these clips at this point, and he's just very contemplative.
Let's put it right there. If you can expand my thing. And then finally, the camera moves towards, or, as it were, the camera, if it exists, would move toward a familiar youthful face. Kiara, if you don't mind explaining yourself, what your expression is what you look like?
Well, it looks just like Romanov, and she has a shirt on that says "I love New York" because she never liked the whole move to Vancouver thing. And she looks at everybody and goes, "So where do we go with this next? I mean, this looks like we're axing a character from the series. Is it worth the ratings on that?" She's chewing her gum.
I mean, I could say the same. This is it. This is part 1. The end of it. I mean, it's good. Like it's a nice cliffhanger. Just Valerie.
Well, she could crash land there, and there could be a whole survival story there. Maybe even, some friendly or unfriendly aliens on the planet. There's a lot of ways we can go with this. What do you all think?
Look, I'm still saying that we could try the whole Power Universe thing. She could fall into a wormhole as she's going through or something. It's a classic thing.
That is
We
a
could,
classic.
we could do the amnesia thing. Don't think we have done that yet.
It's
Mirror,
yes, but
mirror,
that's so
mirror. We haven't
overdone.
mirror in a while.
Like, how is she going to gain amnesia? She's got the EVA suit on. It's padded from the inside. It's been noted for this.
She's crashing.
I don't know.
She's crashing a shuttle. I think we can infer at least a concussion.
Yes, but not full-blown amnesia, Sinclair. And what is she going to forget?
The
How would
classic.
it work?
She is.
She's gonna forget the bad plot lines that sometimes come out of this room.
I wish we all could.
Yeah.
Amnesia only works if you've got someone to play it off against.
Yeah. I mean, look, this is like, okay, you want to do snowy time survival with the engineer? Yeah, that's great. We can do that. The question is, what should we connect it to advance our plot lines? Maybe there's something in particular that would make sense here. I'm just throwing out ideas.
Maybe she
I don't
finds
know.
maybe she finds something on the planet.
Maybe she finds the Borg.
Oh, no.
No, I got one. I got one for y'all. This is great.
I was joking about the
Finds
Borg.
Another example of the alien technology that scrambled her brain when Barton found her in the first episode.
Oh, I don't think anybody remembers that, and I don't need to remind everybody of RST's key directive. Don't think about the Borg.
His
I
his
know.
prime directive.
One day.
One day.
Oh, get over it, Sinclair.
Maybe if you could, afford it with your own pockets if you want to. Valerie says, looking over, just not even looking through above her phone. Tap, 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 tap. All right, is that it? She's just looking over to Wallace.
Well, I do think we might have to have reshoots. The audience there, I mean, one knows only to go so far with them, but they're going to wonder why Romanov's in there. I think we're going to have to pull in one of the extras. That Justice character is testing well.
Well, Wallace, just to say, we may have to do reshoots anyway. One of the crew members, you can see him, just his jean leg, just sticking out from the shuttle back.
Wallace pushes his glasses up his rim and squints.
402, right there. See?
Oh, God damn it!
2 weeks, Wallace. You promised me 2 weeks. I gave you 2 and 2. She slides up to her feet. Look. Needs another reshoot. I can try to argue a few more days. But you promised part 2. 2-parter. You've worked on 2 weeks for part 1. They're not going to be happy if you don't work any harder on this. This needs to be done.
Maybe you could mention the fact that we all had to move out to this lovely part of America instead of where we were before, where we had everything.
It's Canada.
Continent.
Fair enough. Yeah, okay.
Look, I give the best word possible. All right, I have tried to keep you guys afloat, and certainly I loved all of your ideas. I even hired 2 new people here. She gestures to, like a gesture as if, loosely to Kiara. You wanted new blood, you got new blood. And I'm performing miracles. But this was the end of the episode of part 1. And as you point out, she says, looking over at Lawrence, you still have issues. This needs to be done. Reshoots or whatever needs to be worked through. Is the script at least finalized? Looks over to Wallace.
Well, I think that we still have a few more effect shots that we're working in order to help add some polish and the furthering some of RST's recent the notes with the compromises, if you will. We were considering adding in a Kzinti fighter shuttle to the beginning of the incident.
Fine.
Well, there was some blast.
I'll talk.
There.
I'll talk to the studio in the Philippines and see if they can roll up from something in the old episodes. I'm not. There's no way in hell we're gonna commission another new design.
No. But I do got something to throw out here right away for you to think about. What about if that other shuttle, the Kzinti one, crashes too? And then Rominov and the Kzinti have to figure out how to survive together, possibly creating a bridge for diplomacy at a later story.
She just stares, looks over to Wallace, looks back over at Kiara, looks at the rest of the crew, and then looks back at Wallace. I'm leaving for the night. Have a nice night.
Have a nice evening, Val.
She does stuff off and just starts walking away. Because Kiara, you basically just asked her, hey, can we just heavily alter the script and add whole new scenes?
It's true. As soon as she's also out of earshot, bitch.
Yes. It's not. No, yes. Let the rest of us actually do the real work. Fuck's sake. And Lawrence finishes the rest of his tea. Fuck's tepid.
Anyone can easily see the clock. It is now 11 p.m., which is it's okay.
Lawrence is already pulling out a cigarette. Anyone?
If budgets were such a concern, perhaps we should just keep this as a bottle episode.
Another one?
We did try that, and then, as you know, RST managed to pivot that into we already had one in order to pivot into the Weave of Eternity, and
yes,
that's put us that managed to set us back, and frankly, we would need a couple more bottle episodes in order to pay for everything we did there.
They want spectacle, but on a budget.
Wallace looks around at the slightly short-staffed room. I see that Sue hasn't made it in just yet. I think that...
Can't say I blame him.
To clarify, I think, Panda, you told me Sue was...
11 p.m. But sorry, go ahead. Stu, look, we got a little mixed up. It doesn't matter. Stu can be the head dude.
Oh.
It's fine.
I said Sue, but I can do Stu instead.
Stu. It's Sue. Yeah, Sue. Let's do Stu.
Well,
Yeah.
if it works that way, then it can be.
Yeah.
It still
It
fits
works,
with the art.
whichever.
Yeah.
Just
I'll make the repeated note. RST has been repeatedly alluded to, that everyone would know as the head writer. I am doing a JMS type thing with the reference there. Yes, at this point, look, I appreciate everyone's advice here, but well, we're down 2 right now, and frankly, the options that I'm hearing, I'm not convinced could be executed, nor are they your best work. Let's try to hit this again bright and early, or more aptly, dark and early tomorrow. Get some rest, everyone. So Wallace is going to turn back and try to wind some things down. If you guys want to share a couple other ideas, then you're welcome to it.
If you have any ideas you want to do, Kiara, where do you want to go from here?
I guess she's gonna head home because she's got to be back here early in the morning to, figure
Good
this
old 5 a.m. You get the pseudo late hours, my friend. People like the alien actors and whatnot, they have to get back home at 3 or get to work at 3. You got 5 a.m.
That's right. That's the late call. So, yeah, no doubt. But I'm still gonna get there and get some sleep because we got to figure stuff out in the morning. So,
Yeah. Anyone want to intercept one of the new baby faces while she's leaving, or are you guys just all like grumbling, going to bed?
Leaving already? Early night?
I figure we're gonna be back here in the morning. I don't have any new ideas.
Yeah. I thought the
hoping I
young
have
blood, the
some
new
at lunch.
bloods, was supposed to be brimming with ideas coming from those fresh new colleges. Which one did you come from again?
New York Community College.
Ah, of course, grand institution.
Yes, well, I thought so.
Lawrence rolls his eyes and looks
But
over
then
at
I
Sinclair.
transferred over to Oxford where I was accepted and I worked in the letters division. So, yeah, transfers, they happen. Okay, well, listen, I'll see you all in the morning. Great to compare alma mater, and well, hopefully we come up with some new ideas.
Have a nice evening, Oxford.
Have a great evening.
Fresh and early.
All right,
Well, early.
you make
Don't
your way.
encourage her, Morse.
You make your way home. Did you find yourself a house with the budget that you have right now, or did you get your apartment?
Me, I'm renting a basement because that's the most common thing.
Not even like a flat in the
It's
basement,
like
just the basement.
Just
it's
the
like
basement.
overpriced apartments, or you're renting basements from people, and the basements can be quite comfortable. So I'm renting a comfortable basement somewhere.
You get yourself home. As typical for this family, this is actually a pretty large family, and given the nature of the way the economy has been for the last few years, though it is slowly picking up, it's not picking up big enough. Especially with everything going on. So you drive your car, and you find out all the parking spots are already taken, and manage to squeeze yourself maybe a half block away, walk yourself in. It's a rather new family that never seems to produce more, never seems to run out of producing more kids. As you open the door and close it, and already you hear a child screaming upstairs from from this is the mere sound of your door.
Um, Well, I'll
Uh,
say hi, and I will slip down into my basement apartment.
yeah, you make your way down to the basement. What do you do in order to go to sleep? Like
Oh, I have noise
what's your problem?
canceling. I have those noise canceling earphones. I put those on, and then I just put on my watch, which vibrates at the alarm at 5. So I am going to get to sleep because that is so much excitement in that room. Yes, that's a word for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's
Um,
like the Titanic after it's taken several hits. It's just starting to sink. We'll see.
so um, you work your way down. You are brushing your teeth when you hear almost like a TV, just whispers, muttering in the distance.
Through my noise canceling special,
Oh,
ear.
you put it on the moment you go in the basement, or
Well, not the moment, but when I go to sleep, yes.
yeah, but like when you're winding yourself down, like do you put it on
Oh,
as soon as yeah
no, that's
yeah. So you hear just a
I'll sort of just shake my. I'll look around, see if there's some piece of electronics on.
Do you have electronics on? Do you have like something music player or
You
TV?
she's probably got
Well, let's be
Am-
honest. Laptop,
a
tablet.
laptop. Amazon would be the other thing, and there you go. Laptop, Amazon, maybe an iPad or something. Watch, wristwatch,
Yeah, you
Bluetooth.
check things. You press all the buttons. There's nothing really on. Maybe an ad, but you
She
turn those
watches
off.
that Ghost Hunter stuff, so that was her thought was maybe that was playing on there because they always have
Yeah,
sound.
nope, it wasn't playing. Um,
Yeah, okay. Continue getting ready to sleep. I gotta deal with the writer's room tomorrow. I gotta bring fresh, wonderful new ideas.
you um you finish brushing your teeth. You put the headphones on, and as you slip the headphones on and turn on its noise canceling, you hear, if you don't mind.
Romanov?
Look around. Yes.
Nothing. Empty house.
She's gonna make sure she took all of her medication, and Romanov went through, therefore her parallel writer might have gone through something. She's probably on a few meds. She'll make sure she checks.
Where it's the 21st century, we're a little more aware of such things. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, you count them, and I imagine you have like one of those daily medication planner things.
absolutely. It's the only way to
Yeah,
win.
yeah.
Stuff.
You double check on that, and yep, you've already taken those.
Okay.
Um,
Head on over to go to sleep then, and put on some calming music for a few, and then switch over to the quiet headphones.
but 1 second. I should have planned this ahead of time. I'm sorry. As you are doing so, you start putting the headphones back on, and you start hearing just a very distant thump, like almost like a distant thunder, and suddenly klaxons, and almost like far away you hear. If you don't mind me, Zach.
Action stations, action stations. All hands report to your action stations set to condition red.
She probably thinks she's starting to go insane, but hopefully she's just thinking, okay, I just have the show on my mind. I do want to see it succeed. It's a good show. Damn those executives. She's going to try to roll over and ignore it again.
As you start turning away, you hear a woman's voice, almost familiar, but Zach.
Why are we doing this? There are always options. There's always better options.
Yeah. And you blink, and Romanov, you're sitting at your desk. What kind of space there for a moment? Maybe daydreamed? You try to remember what you were dreaming about. It's barely even images anymore.
I'm gonna jot them down anyway. I will quickly jot down some notes on it.
As you try to jot it down, you notice that you were finishing a log.
Ah, yes, my log. Are you ready for that?
Go ahead.
Okay. In engineering, we often spend a lot of time watching processes that are repeated day after day. But the goal is to spot a problem before it occurs. And in that process, engineers have to have an eye for detail. As I consider my coffee, I wonder how many times I might have gone through one day. 11, 12, I really don't know. But once we got ourselves into the slice of space that the Tholian artifact had created, and we got down to the surface, I really admired the cowboy diplomacy of attempting to go right to the source of the problem, and we did. And that cowboy diplomacy was successful. And then Soral showed up out of nowhere, and I found myself back here. That was a day I hope I'm not repeating again. End log.
Something reading that, you just have this nagging feeling that something's not right in the next few days. You don't, it's like that bad feeling, that sort of thing of like existential crisis a little bit, where you're kind of wondering what you're doing here. And all things, which is weird because you're on a great mission, but and you can't really like quit your job out of nowhere, but you definitely have like this existential dread. But it maybe it's a bit of the paranoia you've kind of started to feel a little bit since apparently time loop sort of thing. um but
Well, there is some silver lining in the whole time loop thing. You're usually unaware that it's being looped, so at least from a memory point of view, you're not going mad as fast until you figure it out. But if that's the case, definitely keep those notes, whatever I jotted down, and keep my eye out for anything. Um, she's been through some existential crises like this, having encountered the artifact and having her, entire neurology reprogrammed, she's a little bit better at dealing with this kind of stuff than the average person. So I'll keep my eyes out. If I think there's something worth letting the captain know about, I will. But yeah, I'll keep an eye on any kind of subspace activity. That would be a key sign.
You do know, however, that it's going to be a good day. On your travels, you have the Melnick has run across the signs of a wreckage, a number of wreckages of ancient ships on a world, and while initially it was thought to impossibly to navigate, you, with the help of Remora and Chief Justice, you've actually figured out a way of examining those things, examining the technology and whatnot, with minimizing of danger. You actually were going to give a report to the captain as the Aegis has made just a stop to this world. And the report is actually right there on the desk in front of you.
Take a look at it. If there's no other pressing duties, that would be the thing that would grab her attention immediately.
There has been a number of pressing duties in the days since the Weave of Eternity, as it were. The multiple detonations of nuclear and antimatter warheads at close proximity had practically melted the hull plating, and you basically had to recarve them out and replace them where you could.
Right.
On top of a number of other structural problems with the ship, because even at our best, that's not, getting hit like that hard is going to do a number of jostling and spalting to a ship, no matter what. But at the current moment, this seems like a break, and there's something actually very familiar about these ancient ships that has been kind of getting you pretty interested, because you've been looking for a very long time.
Well, this is her favorite thing. So look, she's a miracle worker. At this point, this is people executing whatever else she's laid out. And she's an expert on this vessel, So she'll just design it to where she's got a little time to read, meaning she'll set up the workload in a way that she's got a little time for this.
Yeah. And certainly when Melnick picked up a sample of the various debris out there, it matched the same metallurgical and signature of the artifact that you
Hold on, there's a match to the artifact that I encountered.
metallurgy wise.
Metallurgy,
Yes.
yeah, that is pretty significant. Metallurgy would be unique.
And this entire planet is surrounded by it.
Holy crap. Yeah,
Of
she's
debris.
fascinated and reading this really quickly right now. I mean, she's scanning.
Which is why you and Justice made a report as such. You're pretty sure. As you read the report, you found a way to get to the bigger chunks of wreckage on the planet itself.
Absolutely.
And you're going to present this to the captain.
Yep. So then I'm just getting ready to present it to her then. Yeah.
You're trying to refresh. It's a lot. There's a lot of things and explaining in here with Melnick's own explanation, which I imagine Zach Melnick doesn't sugarcoat things, or layman's terms it.
Oh yeah, she's got the baffling briefing talent, so
yeah. You try to understand it. I imagine you can understand some of it, but a lot of it goes over your head too. This stuff
what I'm going to do is, can we operationally do this? I know that's
this stuff is the metallurgy is hundreds, if not thousands, of years old. It is very familiar, but they're not quite sure. Melnick is at least isn't sure if it might be from an older society that simply passed through known space, or it came from known space itself. The battle damage you assume is battle damage, given the issues that are cropping up. Has certainly gotten in the way of further research, on top of other concerns.
Okay.
What was your question?
Nothing. No, that I think she's just juggling all that, and that's when that's probably keeping her pretty busy.
How has it made Rominov feel?
What, that there's a lead to
The strongest lead you've had in years. Being so close to one already.
It is when the captain doesn't like it because she gets really interested in something in terms of that's where she's at. She's at this is really interesting to her. She wants to pursue it. So she wants to make sure that she knows how the captain thinks. This is all about, can we safely do this? So that's what she's concentrating on in the presentation.
All right. Are you going to make your way to the briefing room then?
Absolutely.
Does for the rest of the crew, you guys have known from the very start, and in fact, the captain has asked each of you to keep an eye on Rominov since the discovery of the correlation between the metallurgical results between the what we found in debris out here around around this planet and what the artifact Rominov has touched. Given the fact that Rominov has, as I will remind everybody, got so messed up that she was Section 8 for a few years. This is definitely something of interest and extreme concern. So with that said, has anyone been visiting Rominov frequently, or especially now when the meeting is going to happen of her trying to convince people to go visit the damn thing?
Xantar probably would be visiting just to do like routine medical checks, but also do a quick like psych evaluation at the same time for the captain.
Anyone else?
Shira will have been visiting and just talking to her about it more as a friend than first officer. So just engaging in Alaska's interests and seeing where she's where it's taken her at this point.
I would have bumped into her purely coincidentally.
Mentally.
So-
The intelligence officer
In
here
quotation marks.
mentally.
What a coincidence! We should meet here.
Yeah, so the three of you,
Junction 4. Yeah,
just as you're about to leave Rominov, but before you even open the door, Xantar, Shira, Horn, funny enough, the three of you both show up at that door at the exact same time from different paths.
I open the door and I see all of them. And I look at them and go, I'm fine. I'm not obsessed with the artifact. Okay, just a little bit. And I'm not doing anything crazy.
Xantar sedates her.
Melter.
I'll look over at Orin and go, I'm not an intelligence threat to the ship. I would assess that from your position if I was in your position, so...
Now, Shira and Horn, for more detail, and something Romanov would also be aware of, but I'm letting you guys know you guys be more concerned about, because Romanov, I imagine Romanov's just obsessed with getting more. Shira and Horn...
To an extent, okay?
Yeah.
She is not. There is no crazy level drive. This is the best opportunity she's bumped into.
Sure, but I imagine when the first pseudo safe opportunity
Yes,
arises,
absolutely.
you're gonna be focused on that.
Yes.
So Sheer and Horn, when you guys arrived here, while certainly it was very like initial long range sensors gave debris, the amount of debris is insane. This is like almost 21st century Earth bad of debris around the planet. And signs, Shira, have immediately been that it was a very nasty battle with unnumable amount of parts rendered inoperable, parts and whatnot. And that part of the concern, in addition to the debris around the planet, was that some like a good deal of the debris is either booby traps, ancient booby traps, or live active ammunition still, still just drifting. So there is a several larger wreckages, like in more complete state on the planet's surface itself. But given the fact of how dangerous the higher and lower orbits have been around this planet, it initially was the captain considered it, way above its worth, right? Like just like it's not worth it. But Rominov, Remora, and Justice have said they found a way to get through it. Maybe.
That's classified.
Classified.
That this is what the meeting was about. Was like they probably found a way to get through it safely. But you definitely know Shira and Rahorn, the Aegis can't wade through that. They're not with a ship intact.
Has to be a shuttle.
Maybe, and even then, that is very unlikely. At least the current moment.
Yeah, it's absolute insanity.
Yeah,
and only
so
a loose cannon like Justice could come up with that plan.
Only a total badass like Justice could pull this off.
If only we had one of those on board.
Anyways, sorry. I wanted to inform everyone what was going on. So yeah, you all meet right in front of Romanov, and Romanov's like, I'm not crazy.
Says everyone who's crazy.
I feel like Xanto is getting out like the dart gun, and Shiro just no, later. Hang on.
Later.
We can use that on a friendly Orion or an unfriendly Orion.
Oh.
Chef's been annoying again. So how are you doing? Shira asks Alaska.
Me? I'm fine.
Yeah. Good.
It's like
You all set for the meeting?
Yeah, I am.
Great. Well, I look forward to hearing the proposal.
I'm looking forward to presenting it.
Right, well, let's get going.
Are you sure this is a good idea?
You haven't been eating any hot and spicy foods, have you, Romanov?
The answer to that is usually yes. I do eat spicy food. No. Look, I'll tell you before we even get to this meeting, I don't think it's safe.
The food is
But I was asked to propose, and so I'll propose. Maybe Justice, feels that he could handle this. His eyes have to look at it. That's the only comment I can make.
Right.
Do you think I'm all pro on this? I'm not as pro as you think.
Can Xantar try and get a read from like her body language and
Well, she's
the way she speaks?
depressed.
Like,
That she is obviously depressed. That
yeah,
is the situation. Okay. It looks like she'd try to find something, a better option. We'll see what happens. So, you guys ready to go?
oh yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, hold on. No, and Xantar quickly like sprays his hands with the sanitizer. Okay.
You can't do that while walking.
She'll hold her hands out so you can spray hers too.
And yeah, he'll spray her hands.
Spray everything.
Yes.
I'm going to
Spray
take
everything.
going to take a
Okay.
moment to
Now that-
note quick greeting to our good friend Balak Lestrange of the Broken Sword game. How you doing there?
Hey, Balak.
And I appreciate your Quatlu spends, granting
The GM
special...
does not need more threat.
God damn it, Quatlu.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
There will come a day when I'm awake when the Broken Sword starts and I have a lot of questions. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, no, I'm totally been waiting for a Tuesday where I can show
Yeah.
up too.
Gathers all the Quatludes. Fire everything.
But yes, until then,
Alright.
the GM, the special guest GM Panda, will take a point of threat, and I am going to stretch, check my posture, and take a nice drink of this tasty ginger beer.
Everyone, check your shrimping.
No.
Panda, since you're GMing, you need to
Felix.
stretch and check your posture as well, and take a drink of something.
No, I definitely need to check my posture. I was hunching. It's very
Burping
easy.
is good.
You know,
No.
It hurts when I unshrimp. So I should
Nice
shrimp
having
more.
That's the
Nice to have you
point.
here. Nice to have you here, Cheesy. Glad you can make it.
Thank you. Sorry, I was late, guys.
No worries. You're
Oh,
good.
good.
that's quite alright, yeah.
So yeah, you start making your way to the corridors, and I will spend 2 thread right now. As
Oh, we lost
Romanov.
Romanov. Damn it.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go.
Who died? What?
You okay, Brian?
2 threat to disconnect Romanov.
Yeah,
this is
sorry.
Romanov.
Sorry.
So I'm gonna Romanov, as you're walking, you hear a flutter of feathers down the corridor behind you.
Am I walking with the rest?
You're walking with everybody else. Yeah, you're walking with everybody else, but you just hear a flutter of feathers behind you.
She'll make note of it, but she's not going to say anything because she's already around a group of people who already think she's unstable. So,
I mean, you are hearing things.
Think you're unstable.
Jira doesn't think she's unstable. Just
We know she is.
his hobby's shown up.
The hobby round.
You get to the turbolift, and as the turbolift door closes, Romanov, something small moves from one end of the corridor ahead of you across the other. Though you can't see it as the door closes way too fast for you to catch it.
Fine, I'm seeing if anybody else's vision was pointed in that direction, and if their eye and head movements indicate they saw something move.
I mean, was anybody else looking out the door when they got to the elevator or turbolift?
Yeah.
No. Just
No.
you guys
If
are-
one person was,
Didn't
I'm
see anything.
studying. And I'm just doing this, very fast. Did their eye movements trace and see something move?
Give me a insight and
Security?
insight and command.
Insight command.
Clearly the actions of a sane person.
Yes. Now Xantar sort of just looks over. Hey, what's that over there? And suddenly, it's Moopsy.
Oopsie. Complication range 1, right?
Yeah, you're fine.
Insight and command.
Just-
Horn has taken the
Okay.
tranquilizer from Xantar.
Yeah, I know. Everybody's ready to trank me, and I know it because I've been in a situation where people were ready to trank me on a regular basis. She's played
that-
this game before.
Yeah, but
As
Xantar pulls out the
The
second
most
tranquilizer he
difficult
had.
patient.
as our good captain from the Broken Sword game says, that unfortunately the others might not see the same thing. They might think it a Norwegian forest cat.
Exactly. Exactly.
At this
So
point, I think Shira and Xantar pull out their other like tranquilizer guns. Like everybody's got one just in case.
I think Xantar would have reacted if he saw something like I just saw. But if I'm
Zach, can you remove Whisper to GM? Because I think I couldn't see it.
Yes. I can do that. I will say on that last roll, that was one success.
Okay. Yeah, you definitely could just flick your eyes, trying to make sure that you're not looking too paranoid. Nobody seemed to react.
okay, great. If Xantar looks uncomfortable, I'll just say like, "Oh, look, there's something on your suit." He's really about cleanliness, so if I have to, I'll fake it with that. But if I
So
don't need to,
so
I
make
won't
him
do it.
Yes,
uncomfortable.
make
Yeah.
him uncomfortable. Yeah, yeah.
If I need to, make
Do
him
it anyway.
uncomfortable. Look, this is what worked when you had all the nurses around you with tranquilizers as well. She's played this game before. People have no idea.
And just think,
She's not
Xantar,
locked in a
you're
turbo
in
lift with them. They're locked in a turbo lift with her.
But they're real.
Xantar, you're locked in a turbo lift with 3 people in enclosed space. Everyone's breathing. No masks around.
No, no.
This
You
is what
know,
the sanitizer is for.
when Romanov says Santa, you have something on uniform. Hornet turns to, who's Santa? There's no crewman named Santa on the ship.
I just morph into
Resolution.
Dr. Lambeth.
Ugh.
Wow.
For one cursed moment.
You hit the turbo lift. The turbo lift reaches the first floor, and as you walk out onto the bridge and heading over to the meeting room, is it meeting room the second or first floor?
Conference
Anyway.
room, I think, is actually on deck 2, but this could always be
Okay.
a meeting on the bridge.
Yeah, sure. You reach the first floor, and Romanov. There's almost like a white noise in the back, in the far reaches of your ears. Now, there's white noise all the time on a ship. You're used to it, especially as an engineer. You can
Oh, I
measure.
listen to that white noise. That's not white noise. That's things that I've learned to listen for.
Yeah, but there's actually now white noise,
Okay.
like soft white noise, like as if maybe the speakers are going off.
This could all be a Sorrel situation. She hasn't reserved, I mean, he seemed vaguely aware of who we were, so, and possibly saved us. So, this, she thinks this could be but either way, though, she's going to follow through with it. But she's suspicious. The ruffling of feathers, well, she did know an avian who helped with alien tech, so yeah, she's keeping it together. One stitch is keeping it together.
Yeah. You look at the screen. The screen shows a Class D planet that you guys have been. It's small because you guys are certainly keeping far away from the debris. It's like a white brown, it's like a muddy pearl in the darkness, with like a haze around it itself. as like a web, a thin cobweb around it,
Well, to her,
which you know, Romanov, is the debris. That's a lot of fucking debris out there.
this was a conflict zone. She knows
Yeah.
exactly what she's looking at. This was an ancient conflict zone, and yeah, it's got a lot of potential. And look
The
over
captain-
it.
The captain stands up and says, "Well, I thought for a change of pace, and simply because we're not being formal here, as it were, that we do the meeting here, if that's fine with everybody."
Yeah, sure.
Sounds good to me.
It's just nice to be on the bridge. I need to come up more often.
Oh, cheesy. I need to send you the thing too. Sorry.
Aleska looks over at you and go, "Yeah, we just readjusted the thermostat up here. It's going to be nice and comfortable."
Ah,
Adjusted the thermostat which way?
Within the range that people have been enjoying. Whatever you filled out on the engineering survey.
Now, Remora, you've loosely heard what's going on. Apparently, Romanov had touched something she shouldn't, and it kind of messed her up a fair bit. This has you as a pirate. You have learned. You're a superstitious lot. You know not to touch something that you don't understand. She did that. She's alive. Good on her. You know. But now she found something that is similar to it, and she's been hella fucking curious. But for you, like, it's up to you, Cheesy, and how you feel about this. But basically, there's a wreckage of ancient civilization and a space battle with a lot of debris and booby traps and unexploded ammunition around that planet, with basically the treasure of more complete wreckage on the planet surface. Just to fill you in really quickly there. But with the help of Romanov and Justice, you found a way, possibly, of getting to the planet surface without dying horribly.
Okay. If it was talked about before, Remora has shown a particular distaste for going after these things.
It's up to you, Cheesy, of how Remora feels about messing with things that could possibly drive you crazy. Either you have no idea what the fuck it does, even though it might be highly valuable.
Oh yeah, no, he firmly believes this is cursed.
But
everything about the wreckage.
But they're also explorers, so, and this might be a bountiful harvest, as it were, bountiful use to this entire crew. So, Sharp just now standing, just kind of rests an arm and elbow on her seat and says, "All right, Justice, Romanov, Remora, if you feel like it, sell me."
I'd like to let the science side speak first.
Okay.
And then I'll go over.
So setting it up for Melnyuk to create the insurmountable obstacle. Got it.
Yes.
Well, our one recent stop, since we inexplicably traveled dozens and dozens of light years from our previous position, and thankfully I at least have sensor logs from that. No, our first stop is a Class D planetoid with an advanced case of Kessler syndrome. That is, for those not in the know on Earth terminology, the instance where orbiting debris and general space junk has become so thick that it creates a massive difficulty for orbital navigation, generally unsafe. This is a novel case only insofar as it appears that the debris created was in more of a concentration specifically by some sort of ancient combat between large fleets. The vessels largely destroyed each other. It's uncertain as to which power came out on top, but they have created a virtually impassable array of spatial debris, including fragments of armor, hull, unexploded ordnance, some suspected still charged weapon cells, which is, I suppose, an engineering marvel at the very least. All of that around a lifeless rock whose only interesting object appears to be more of the crashed vessels down on the surface below. Near as we can tell, she says, putting up the readings, there appear to be valuable materials, including exceptionally rare materials that have potential energetic uses, supplemental power supplies, valuable ores, rhonium, duranium, and alloys that have been processed and could be applied to the ship. But it's nothing that Aegis could get through safely, particularly when a good third of the hull is covered in patch kits.
The captain is just watching, listening. And we're sure it's on a false signal, similar to what happened with our lovely pirate friends.
There's no sign of a radiogenic anomaly in similar fashion, and frankly, not to cast any aspersions on anyone who worked as a pirate, Melnyuk says.
She just gives a small.
glance
She just gives like a small smile, but just let's continue. Sorry.
I don't know about their logic, but I don't think a pirate would want to plot themselves here, given that there is, as far as we could initially tell, no safe way, and a way that, for what it's worth, I'm not convinced is safe. Yeah, of course, Remora, if you think that pirates would want to camp out here, you can speak to that yourself. I'm not gonna put words in your mouth.
I would say like a lot of heads like turn to look at Remora, just like.
I don't think that any pirate would step anywhere close to this area. It's got what you humans call bad juju.
Bad juju, yes.
This has curse written all over it.
Like Xantar leans into Horn and is like, is that professional medical jargon? Or professional scientific jargon? Juju?
Yes, it's in the new book.
Ah.
I'm joking.
Oh!
It also means little bird in one dialect of a Middle Eastern language.
We're digressing, the captain says.
Justice says, yes, you're quite right, Captain. But even without that, our best assessments from science and tactical suggest that some of the items might have long since been rigged to prevent any sort of pillaging or landing. But we've actually think we've identified an interesting pattern in the debris fields. Melnyuk, if you could put up display 3A. Melnyuk taps some of the sensors, and on the visual screen, you see the orbital trajectories plot along, and a narrow segment that, when it pauses, where Justice starts pointing. What we think we've found here, working with Commander Rominov, is essentially a drift passage. Something that, based on these orbital plots, open up about once every 14 hours. With a decent enough pilot, and provided we're careful, there's nothing that provided there isn't a strong proximity sensor on any of those traps, we might be able to get through there.
She eyes the corridor thoughtfully and gives a slow nod and looks over to the rest of her officers. Thoughts, concerns?
My assessment is essentially the same. This has a lot of dangers. Of course, I'd like to take a look at some of the technology, but this is the only viable route that we've discovered, but it has its own
As you're
questions.
talking, Romanov, you hear a flutter of feathers again.
Flutter of feathers again.
It's right behind you. You think it's behind you.
She'll just, as she's talking, make a casual, she's bringing up some data on the data pad and she's addressing multiple people. She'll just scan the room. That area, maybe like 180 degrees, but she'll blend it into a natural movement. Meaning she's not going to freak out and turn around, but she'd like to see if there's anything there, but she doesn't think there is.
Yeah, there's nothing. Sharp.
So, Skipper, this comes down to this is not a safe proposal. We might want to do it where we check the entryway and then wait for another interval, check again. It is potentially doable, but it's not without risk. A lot of unknown.
And no other signs of previous attempts at pillaging they're aware of. She looks over to Chief Justice and Melnick.
Well, chances are, I haven't dated all of the material there, but if somebody else did pillage, then they probably only made the debris field worse. I do have to recommend against this. The corridor, while the Chief's assessment is at least partially correct, we can't speak to the... it'd be difficult to speak to the reactivity of any existing proximity sensors, the stability of any of the power cells or ordnance. Some charge would have dissipated for some time now, but some of that material, I can't begin to imagine what would... I haven't run a simulation for what the process would look like for those sorts of ordnance, some of which I can't even identify over the time scale that we're looking at here.
Romanov is nodding in agreement.
But
for my part, I'm categorically against this entire endeavor.
Yeah.
We have no idea of the dangers there's already in there, and the benefits that will be gained are too little in comparison.
Creighton's actually going to chime in with Actually, no. I'm going to keep his justice.
Yeah.
Look, I know it sounds risky, but Romanov and I have been going over the numbers. With a properly fortified shuttle pod, minimal crew, we could potentially make a trip through the corridor safely, or as safely as possible. We could extract even small amounts of valuable material that we frankly need right now. And Commander Romanov has been telling all of us these past few days, since the incident in the binary star system, we've been having various issues with power, with stability of our systems. So many EPS conduits blown out, the processors that have been fried. Combined all that with with our steady depletion of antimatter and the from the cold start that we had to perform, as well as the sustained amount of high warp. If we don't do something or take some sort of risk like this, we might have to turn back on this whole expedition.
The captain's giving some serious thought. Romanov, where are your eyes moving?
She's obviously in agreement with Chief Justice as well. What Chief Justice is that is correct. We are on limited supplies at the moment, and if we can't change that, we're gonna have to turn back potentially.
You, as you're looking at Justice, on occasion your eyes would flick over to the view screen and the planet. And as you're looking at the planet, the white noise gets louder. It's actually overtaking some of the background noises of the ship a little bit. And
I will look over at the colonel and go, and I believe there's a signal that's reaching out to me from there. But I'm still concerned about the dangers of this particular mission. But there is a corridor.
She looks at you a bit firmly and says, "Signal, Lieutenant Commander? Have you informed the doctor or Miss Mielnik of this?"
That thing for the past, 20 minutes or so. And I couldn't put my finger on it until now. But I believe that because of what happened to me, I may actually be receiving some kind of white noise signal from the technology that's there. I know that sounds out there, but given everything we've seen in the past few weeks, out there shouldn't be off the table. And I am underlining the dangers of this mission as well. One thing, just
and I respect that, Mielnik.
And there's one other thing I have to underline. We do not have what would a rescue plan be? Waiting 14 hours to send another shuttle? We have to consider all that stuff.
Justice is giving you a glance through his sunglasses, like you can feel it. You can feel it burn through you as much as he's trying to keep cool.
He's trying to keep cool, but I imagine Justice very much of like, dude, you propped me up. You propped me up for this, and now you're throwing him under the bus.
Yeah, it's like the look very much says, "Come on, Commander Romanov, work with me." Where this was supposed to be our idea together, and I feel like I'm out on a limb.
Yeah.
Look, I can do this. I can pilot that corridor. Romanov Commander Romanov would be plenty competent in making sure that the hull plating remains strong, and that if there were any technical issues, we think we could troubleshoot it on the fly. I'm not going to say it's not risky, but I'm saying it's worthwhile. Risk has got to be our business, after all.
I think it might be worth the risk.
Raise an eyebrow, looking over at Shira.
Captain, I'm rather concerned about Romanov talking about this signal thing that they are hearing.
As am I.
That was a bit concerning too. Yes.
Correct.
We can talk about that in a moment. Right now, I want to focus on the possible mission, though. Certainly, it seems like you're very much on the fence, Romanov, overall.
Look, I believe I believe this is doable, but as a Starfleet engineer who is handling a ship, I have to give you risk assessment. That is part of my job.
I appreciate that. She says she
My
nods.
risk assessment is it's doable. This is not without risk, though. Doable, but not without risk.
Certainly. Shira, you were saying something. You were expressing your approval.
I think it's probably worth the risk. I trust Romanov and Justice's judgment on whether they can get in and out of there with material.
She nods. Mielnik, you had some sort of gadget, and I say that with a very loose expression of the term, that Sorrel had within his lab that you were making use of before. you're giving high praise of several times so far. Do you
She's-
think it can navigate a better navigational path if we asked it?
She just sighs as it seems like the tide is turning back in favor of the mission. I could try to, I could see what about programming in the conditions here and give a breakdown on likely percentage chances and see if there's I can see if it can generate an alternate course of action. If you would like, I can also extend that to give I could even probably have it develop a judgment as to likelihood of outcome, or likelihood of a successful outcome overall. But let me tell you right now, I don't think that it would say much different from what I have and from what even the commander has.
Likely so, but I don't want to remove an option simply because an opportunity that presents itself, despite its danger. If there's a safer way or a more cleaner method that is more than just 14 hours, and started looking into it. And as she's talking, by the way, and she's talking to various groups of how to handle this, Rominov, you hear the flutter again, except this time it flies over your shoulder and just lands right here in the center console. And it is an avian of sorts, an earth avian, an eagle. That's where it just lands right there.
And Remora does not react to it, right?
Nobody reacts to it.
Right. Oh, okay. Take that in. This is like, I'll just focus on my breathing. I've been through, Alice in Wonderland in engineering with the little girl. I can handle this. I'm going through my mental kata for a second just to center myself. It's okay that there's a bird only I can see. Yes.
It just perches there, cleaning itself, looking around, looks at you, waiting. The white noise gets louder this time. Starts filling your ears a little bit. And it's hard not to look away from the eagle. Mostly because you haven't seen an avian, you haven't seen a bird in a while.
Yeah, I was about to say that's a rare thing, man. Probably very not a lot on Alpha Centauri, probably.
At least it isn't a dancing frog.
No, this is a step up from dancing frogs. It's just eagles on the helm control. So
Eagles in space.
eagles in space.
Does
Okay, I do have a
Shira,
question.
does Shira
This
notice anything,
is a serious
anything
question.
up with Romanov?
What's that? I'm trying to make sure I do not show, because other conversations are occurring now about stuff, I assume, or is
Give me Shira, give me an insight and command. And Romanov, give me a presence or a reason and command. No, presence and command. Difficulty of
Titan command, you said?
Yeah. Presence command for Romanov, insight and command for Shira, and difficulty of 2 for both of you. Because Shira, you're distracted. You're trying to keep focus of what's going on in the situation. And Romanov, you're trying to keep yourself together, my friend.
Nope.
Eagle's beautiful.
No, I'm not noticing nothing. In fact, I probably think everything's fine.
Everything
Is that
is.
a?
There's no giant eagle in the center
What's
of
up?
the bridge.
For some reason, Shira, just the image of Xantar as he exits the shower room on the first contact mission pops into your head.
Stupid, sexy Xantar.
I'm gonna go space myself. Actually, you know, this mission sounds rather suicidal. I'll go on it with you. Yeah.
The cat. You almost want to look over, and 'cause, like you do notice like the occasional sort of body language change on Romanov, I imagine. But the moment you're about to be more focused on it, the captain turns your focus back to her, accidentally. Yes, you get a backup plans. You get a freaking thing, and you get basically you guys get two momentum total.
Yay!
Who wants to be momentum dude?
I can still do it.
The bird, is it like drawing my psychic energy? Like, is my mind, like, is it wants my mental contact?
It's very distracting.
Okay.
It's similar to very much like if you're like inebriated a little bit and there's something just really focused, like when you're feeling out of it and there's like something that you just can't help but want to look at, because again, you haven't seen an eagle in a very long time.
Yeah, golden eagle. Okay, got it. I will try not to look at the golden eagle then. I will let it sit on my peripheral vision as I look at the captain and listen.
Screeches in your face.
You hear the white noise. I said the White House picked up, and occasionally hear, "Saith, Valir, Saith, Valir." I don't know how much is going through the mic, by the way. I whispered.
I don't know.
We're
It just
hearing.
came through kind of muddled. She's trying to make out the words.
Yeah. The captain says, "Romanov, hear what I said?"
Yeah. When this is done, I need to have medical check me over.
All right, can do. Certainly after what you've already said. In summary, for all of you, it's an interesting prospect, but certainly 14 hours is a no-go if whatever device you have been taking as a pet, looking over at Melnick, can give us better options and can sell me on it. We can more look in this matter. By the moment, I think it's dismissed. Back to your stations. And the captain just moves to her ready room, leaves.
Xantar, we should go to medical.
Yes, I think so. Come along.
The eagle
I assume
squalls.
eagles would follow me. I'm just kind of looking back like, hey, Feathers, you better follow me. I'll head into the turbo lift.
It squalls at you. And it follows you and lands on Xantar's shoulder.
Excellent.
Urge to spray shoulder rising.
She's wondering, will it poop on him and he'll be totally unaware of it because it's in another spatial dimension?
It already has.
As it's closer to you, because now you're in the turbo lift, the white noise is now clearer.
Okay.
And it's not just one voice, but many.
Part of the ship, part of the crew, part of the ship, part of the crew.
The power of one.
Saith Zahad Vadir. Saith Zahad Vadir. Saith Zahad Vadir.
I'll memorize that as I'm going down in the elevator. I'll just repeat it in my mind. so that I can try to run it through a translator.
Give
later.
me a reason and command. Difficulty of 4.
Reason. Good. Command. Okay. Okay. No focus.
Rolls, not so good.
Let's see. Difficulty 4.
Mm-hmm.
We only have one. As no, I can try. Okay. Because I don't think I have any more determination. So let's see. It should pop up here. There we go. 0. I got nothing. That's why I'm memorizing it.
This eagle, like you've had imagination. You have a great creative imagination. You're a good engineer, right? And certainly you have had, especially with the Zerillion situation that happened like a year back. Like there can be something very, very lifelike. This looks immaculate in its appearance. The feathers move almost the way, almost like a gentle breeze of the air conditioning. It's
What's the
looking
name of that
around, it's heads
corporation
pivoting.
From this is like the work of that corporation
It
from.
it's a real eagle. Like this is not just like a drug haze or madness. This is a real fucking eagle sitting on Xantar.
She could buy that. There could be frequencies in which normally you can't perceive, and that
But not to this clarity. Even as your mind is trying to adjust to this stuff, not to this clarity. It is a real eagle. All you like, as much as your reason and Vulcan Vulcan training is telling you this shouldn't exist. This is not happening. This is just my madness creeping up. I'm better than this. You're looking at this and it's like, but it's a real eagle.
But it's a real eagle.
It's a real eagle. It exists. It's here. You can smell it.
My problem is Xantar can't see it, and that's not a me issue. That's a Xantar issue. So
yeah,
she's kind of good with this. She's like, okay, I accept you, Mr. Eagle. You are there, definitely. You should make yourself visible to my friend there, and don't poop on his back.
What's that, Eagle? What do you want me to do to Xantar?
He's really sensitive about that kind of stuff.
Do you want to touch it? It looks friendly.
No, because I know that would unless I can do it in such a way that I'm not going to.
Xantar is not looking. Let me give it bountiful. Let me give it easy for you. Xantar is not looking right now. Xantar is more focused on, I imagine, for the 50 billionth time. He's pretty sure that he touched a console while chilling out, and it was not properly.
And then the answer to that is yes. I'm going to touch the eagle that nobody else can see.
You reach out, and the voices get louder, almost shouting, chanting. Saith Zahad Varhir, saith Zahad Varhir, saith Zahad Varhir. And as those words are chanting, you can almost understand them. Almost what the words mean.
Okay.
And like your mind translate. Let me finish. Yeah. Your mind translates. Just really easier for viewers, as it says, saith Zahad Varhir. Saith through power, peace through power, peace through power, peace through power. And then you hear knock knock as a security guard knocks on your window, Kira, as you're there at the gate.
Okay. I just I'll hey, I'm here to
You okay, ma'am? You're free to go.
No, I'm good. I'm just gonna pull over here real quick. That's a great episode idea that I had. So I'm gonna jot that down in my little notepad because most writers keep a notepad around.
You are jotting it down, and you are trying so hard to draw it down so fast, it is slipping from your mind.
Right.
May
You
I?
actually go ahead.
I was just going to say, finish jotting that down, but I have an amusing interrupt after this.
Okay. You're trying your best to slip it in there. Let's roll me 2d20.
2d20.
Yep. Your focus, you have focus on this. Your professionalism for it, or your thing is 3. Let's say that you are a decent rider, so we'll say we'll give you a 10. So give me a 13 or lower with a focus bonus on this.
Okay, roll 2d20.
And difficulty is going to be a 3.
Okay, I'm just putting /roll 2d20, and
Yes.
I don't know how to put a focus on that.
Well, you just if you roll a 3 or lower, you get 2 successes as opposed to 1.
Okay, there we go.
No.
Suck.
You are trying your best to write this as much as possible. You remember something about Rominov and the wreckage. So that's definitely part 1. You had you're working on part 1. You definitely had a solution of inkling toward part 2. You had a decent, good, solid idea what part 2 was going to be about. You're working your hardest here, and it's shit. You're going to do a flashback, maybe, or was it going to be a reshoot? Sing about an eagle.
May I stage my
Somebody-
interrupt
Oh.
now?
The writer's room.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yep.
I thought I had
Um,
brilliance there for a moment, but I'll head to the writer's room.
Yeah, Kiara, as you're trying to jot this down, you hear honking from the car behind you, and you see out.
Yeah,
Will you move your goddamn car out of the way? Some of us need to get to work. I'm needed on stage.
Exactly. I will not hold up the line anymore.
Man just drives by in an outfit from the show, flipping you off.
Crichton's so much nicer in character.
that is exactly. We like his character.
Never gonna
He's
hold
such
me
a
up
diva,
again.
honestly.
Speaking of the bird, he doesn't understand the glory of the golden bird. Okay, so I will go park and head to the writer's room.
As you certainly, I imagine you're a little startled by the honking horn.
Oh yeah.
And sorry, I should prompt these things, and I apologize to everybody.
Quite alright.
Where is it? Where is it? I guess I didn't write it. Okay. No, we're good. It's 5 a.m. Did you get coffee before you came here? Like, what'd you grab? Did you go straight to work? What'd you do?
Instant coffee on the way out, but I really need a real cup, so I'm parking and heading for the coffee room adjacent to the writer's room.
Well, did you grab coffee beforehand? Did you grab breakfast beforehand? Or are you just going to rely on whatever?
I'm relying on what's here. I'm relying on what's here. Usually they feed people in the film industry, so there's usually goodies out.
Oh yeah, they feed. Okay, let's be honest here. They feed the actors better than they do the writers. The writers have to get whatever they can scrounge and steal.
Right.
So you're gonna like sneak your way into the set and just sort of like grab a few scones, or what are you gonna grab? It's certainly a bountiful harvest that the actors have.
I'll grab some scones and a cup of coffee and then head to the writer's room.
You might overhear in the background. Well, I'm at least glad I don't have to get in at 3 a.m. anymore. That benzite makeup is the worst.
I just keep going, heading to the writer's room.
And the other guy's like, Well, at least you don't have to deal with the Denoblian stuff. Ugh, God, it weirdly smells.
You take your first sip of the coffee, and it burns your tongue. And when you pull your hand back down, you notice that your arm and sleeve are bloodied in a Star Frontier uniform. There's burns, and you can smell the long pork in your nose a little bit, in addition to the pain. And you
Okay.
blink, and your tongue just hurts.
Okay. Am I still in the Star Frontiers uniform?
Nope.
No, I just.
What are
Okay,
you wearing right now in the morning? It's 5 a.m. in Vancouver. It is cold. It is a healthy.
I'm wearing a sweatshirt that says "I love New York," and like
It is a little colder than New York. Certainly because it's concrete jungle too. But it's a brisk 46 right now.
lots of layers.
Fahrenheit.
You know, the sweatpants, a sweatshirt that says "I love New York," and probably a fluffy jacket that's like very warm and water resistant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll head for the writer's room. That was very strange. Shake my head for a moment. I guess I'm getting story ideas. They want fresh ideas. I've got some fresh ideas, so I'll head for the writer's room.
You make your way there, and for the moment, for everybody, I think we will pause here. For the next episode, or the next part of the next episode for next week.
Cool.
Okay.
Alright. Fair enough. Quick preview of the writer's room, I suppose.
When finally the killing starts. I mean, what?
Wallace is dead on the ground. Landon
I
lies
want
like
the
one
golden bird to appear in the writer's room in the next episode. The golden
Sinclair
bird.
is just like strangling Hunter. It's great.
Good
If
stuff.
I hear about your tear one more time, I warned you!
Oh, maybe I'll catch amnesia from the strangling.
Well, thank you. Are we pausing here? This is game
Yes,
pause.
we're pausing here for this session.
Yep. So for those of you in the archive, this is where we're going to leave you off. I hope that you enjoyed this. I've definitely been enjoying kicking back and leaving this in the capable hands of our temporary guest GM Panda, ascended
Thank
to
you,
ascended to
Panda.
this new post. Yes. If you ever want to join
Every
us,
forever DM deserves a chance to play.
yes. If you ever want to join us live, then feel free to drop in Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 6 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. And links will be in the description of the video, as always. So until then, we will leave you off here.